What is up, YouTube? Welcome to another episode, and this is Weekly Ramble, a weekly video where we go and basically discuss things that are happening in FIFA and real world football, gaming and everything like that. It's kind of like a solo podcast for a good few minutes, usually under 20 minutes, and something I hope to try and keep this channel as active as possible. And obviously there is a game happening in the background using my 4-1-2-1-2 French Ligue 1 side, which is basically my team that I just want to get wins with. So let's get into today's topics, and the first of which we have to talk about is obviously the team of the week. So the team of the week for March 27th is as follows. There is two strikers I can see on the team, Higuain and Samuel Etoo. There is also a couple of wingers, as in Gylfi Sigurdsson, who's been converted now to a left mid. We have Baines, who's been now pushed back to his right mid position. Farfan, also right mid, and right winger Petroipa. So a lot of pacey, good wingers as well. Baines is a really good player. Farfan is a good player, and so is Petroipa, who's had quite a few, I think, informs, and he's had man of the match card as well. In midfield, we've got Bastian Schweinsteiger, CDM. He's going to go for quite a bit of money. He usually does command a good price, even though he hasn't got the greatest pace and things like that. And that is definitely, you know, what Ultimate Team is about. He's an 87 rated player, and you know, he's shooting 84, he's passing 87, 83 dribbling, 81 defending, and even 75 in the air. This guy looks incredible from the CDM position. We've also got this random silver called Jamat. Looks pretty average, 74 pace at right back. We've also got Simon Kia, I think how you say his name, from Wolfsburg. He is 65 pace, so not a lot of people are going to use him unless they have a Danish team. And also another interesting player is Baines, the Everton player, and also I think he might have got it for his England form. 80 pace, 80 defending, 70 in the air, 70 heading, even 82 passing, and 73 shooting. He's going to probably have really good free kick stats, I would expect anyway. So definitely be on the lookout for Baines. Barclays Premier League players in general really do rise. We have also in goal Lloris, and for his probably heroics with France, I would have thought, and his stats are just, I don't even want to read them, they're ridiculous. 92 diving, 87 handling, his kicking's pretty average, 75, reflex is 92, speed 68, which is pretty good for a goalkeeper, and positioning 87. So I mean, the key stats, the positioning, reflex and diving, are pretty much in their 90s, which is pretty savage, to be fair. The bench, there is a couple of interesting players, I've got to be honest. There's a silver player called Tonev with 82 pace at right mid, with 72 shooting. He's a Bulgarian. I think he plays for Lech Poznan in the Polish league. He looks pretty interesting. But the there's also Pleti Kosa, the goalkeeper, that was really rare in the last game. He's goalkeeper, silver as well. He's got some decent stats for a Russian league goalkeeper if you do need one. But I think the biggest two players from this week's team of the week, silver wise, are definitely Jesse Rodriguez. I do believe that's his first in form. He's had a couple of upgrading cards like that. 86 pace, 72 shooting, and 85 dribbling. He's got some really good stats, I've got to be honest. They look incredible for a silver to have like that sort of stats already. I think he's going to be really, really good, and hopefully it's a good upgrade from his upgraded card. But the most important player, I think, from this team of the week, and probably the most expensive from the silver lot, and he could be the rarest as well, is Pukki. I think it's Teemu Pukki, the player that plays for Schalke in the Bundesliga. He is a Finnish player, and he obviously got the goal that got the draw against Spain, which was a really good result for them. 86 pace, 73 shooting, 76 dribbling. He is going to be a really, really tidy player, so someone to definitely look out for. He's going to be extremely rare, but do check in the description below. I do give my thoughts on who you should invest in this week. There's not many I would really invest in. It's all dependent on their price, but players like Baines, Farfan, maybe some of the people that have been pushed out of their position, like a Valbuena or a Sigurdsson, and Etoo. There's a couple of decent players here. It's all dependent on their price. Be on a watch for that. So that is the team of the week, and let's get into the footballing news. And as it's been internationals, there's not been too much news that's been coming out recently, apart from a few people that are moving early on transfers. For example, Norwich moving to get Enrique van Wolfswinkel, I think in a fee of around, I think, 8 plus 8 to 10 plus million pounds. So that's a lot of money for Norwich to spend on one player, and he's a quality player. I mean, he's at a really poor Sporting Lisbon team, but he's got a ratio, I think, of this season and last season pretty much of a goal every 2 games, which I mean, Norwich have brought on a lot of strikers recently, but you know, he's a quality player, so he'll be good for Norwich, as they're probably going to stay up this season. And this is the issue, that people are now building for next season already, and another thing that's going to happen next season is the new TV deal. If no one doesn't know about this, it was a TV deal that was announced around November, December time of 2012, and it was basically to indicate all the money that was going to be pushed into the Premier League through television rights, because the TV, you know, gets basically sold to every other nation, and our game, the Premier League, is shown in pretty much every nation under the sun. It's on their TVs, and obviously every nation wants to see the Premier League. It's the best league in the world, and so people want to pay big money for it, and that's what's happening, because there's a lot of money going to be pumped in, and clubs are going to get a lot more money. It's all dependent on how much the foreign or the overseas basically jumps, and how much money they basically give into the deal. Nothing's been worked out 100% yet, but it's all dependent on scenarios on how much they do need and things like that. But the Premier League could get a massive influx of money, and you're already seeing it. I mean, QPR spent a lot of money because they knew that this TV deal was coming up, and it was worth the gamble of spending big to stay in the Premier League and to get that massive, basically massive check that you're going to do, that you're going to get from being in the Premier League. So that's a good thing for the teams, or it can be. I've heard some different reports. For some teams, they're saying that it's really going to affect the top teams. For example, winning the title last season. So Man City last year won around £60 million. But with this new, you know, TV deal, plus depending on how the overseas and foreign growth, you know, happens for the Premier League, and you know, for it to be on TV, it's estimated to be around 90 plus million. So that is a big jump. I mean, winning 60 million and now winning 90 million for the winner, you know, an increase of 20 million is quite a lot. So that's just the growth, showing, you know, how much it could really help teams. The issue as well is it can really help the top teams as well, because they do it, obviously you get more money being a team in the top area, similar to what La Liga do. They do the same, with basically most of it is split between Barcelona and Real Madrid, and a little bit is filtered down to the other teams, which really does show the La Liga lack of depth, because hardly of the any teams have any money, and teams like Barcelona and Real Madrid, you know, have a lot of money floating about. Also as well, there was a question on one of the threads that I was looking at, and someone was asking about Arsenal. He's an Arsenal fan, and he was saying about, you know, how could this basically affect Arsenal, because obviously we've not spent any money and things like that, and you know, obviously he wants new signings coming in. So basically what he said is you're looking at between 26 and 45 million more income per season. That's all dependent on growth. So every season from now on, with this new TV deal, you're going to get around, worst case scenario, around 25 plus million. So that's worst case scenario, more that can go straight into your team. It all depends. I think Arsenal's owners are only in it for the money, so I don't think that's going to filter down to the team. But you know, for other teams, I mean, like Norwich, for example, their money is going to go straight into the team. And if you're getting a decent amount of money, like 25 million extra on top of what you're already getting, you know, that is going to be a good windfall for these teams, and I'm hoping it's going to help the lower teams and to make them more competitive. As you can see, Southampton spent massive on what's his name, Gaston Ramirez. He spent massive money trying to get a highly rated player like that to come to Southampton. Is a massive coup for them. They're also trying to get Davide Astori as well from Cagliari. So we'll see how that does develop, but it'll be interesting to see how the other sides can develop. Do you think this is a good thing, or is it going to be one of those you know, typical things in life where it's only going to make the rich get richer and the poor get poorer? Hopefully that's not the case, and hopefully this can help the other teams spend as well. As I've already said about Ricky van Volswinkel, Norwich also seem to be agreeing a fee for Diakite from Lazio. So again, just spending big money, and it'll be interesting to see the Premier League windows, because recently in the last transfer windows they've been pretty poor for Premier League standards. So hopefully that can increase and we can get some more quality players into our league. Okay, so there's no games tonight. It was all international matches recently. For example, the England game, the draw against Montenegro. I really can't speak too much of it because I didn't watch the game. I just don't find England that entertaining to watch. But I did hear it was a 1-1 draw, and it was kind of be expected. The end of the day is I don't look at this England team and really enjoy the players. I mean, don't take no offence to these, but I see players like Tom Cleverley. I'm not his biggest fan at all. I see players that just get into that team just being because they're at Man United. And don't take no offence to this. You know, there's players I think that are in, I would say, better form. They're not playing, they're on the bench, you know what I mean, or they're not even called up. But there is ones that are playing, you know, the Smallings and players like that, I don't know, I just don't see them in the right form. And under Roy Hodgson, I think Roy Hodgson is a guy that he would never go for anything that is going to rock the boat. He's not going to do anything that's going to revolutionise the game. He's going to go with the tried and trusted, and that's why you try to get Rio Ferdinand back. I think under England, Roy Hodgson is not the right guy. We're just going to basically rely on the older experienced players, and I don't think we should do that on England. I think we should call up the players that deserve it, even if they're young. For example, I'm a massive fan of Joachim Löw, the German manager, because he brings in a player like Draxler, he brings in a player like Mario Götze when they're like 17, 18, and you know, that's a big thing, getting called up for your national team in Germany, especially at that sort of 17, 18-year-old age. But he knew when they were ready, and there's many players that are ready in the Premier League that just kind of don't get their chance, and you know, there's more experienced players ahead of them, which I hope does change. I was looking because I was trying to do a squad builder of the future of England, and in areas it looks pretty promising. You know, Oxlade-Chamberlain's, and we've got some Nathan Redmond's, Thomas Wright, I think it's, no, Tom Rice, yeah, Tom Ince even. I'll get there eventually. The player that is at Blackpool. So we've got quite a few good width or wingers, if you know what I mean. But defensively, we've got a couple good players coming through, like you know, Kulka, who I think is going to be a key player for England over the many years to come. But there is some players that I'm kind of worried about, and the main area for England, I think, is attackers. We used to have the days of, you know, Sheringham, Andy Cole, or Andrew Cole, whatever you want to call him, you know, and players like that. And now we just don't have those players, or Owens and things like that, coming through. Where is the really incredible players? Welbeck is not going to get you loads of goals. Welbeck is a good team player. He is not an out-and-out goal scorer. And we're looking at the other players, you know, we haven't got those clinical strikers anymore. I mean, Rooney's not a clinical striker, and the way that he plays is more of a, again, a team player, similar to Welbeck. I just want this player that's, you know, young, you know, kind of like supposedly what Connor Wickham was supposed to be that target man, but also as well get goals on a regular basis, and we do not have that. We do not have exciting young striking talent. I had a look at the books. I mean, as I said, Connor Wickham, but he's kind of dwindled since his massive move to Sunderland. Also as well, I'm looking as well, there's an Arsenal player called Akpom, I think his name is. He looks quite an interesting prospect. Also as well, Newcastle's Adam Campbell, who is very highly rated by me and by many people, especially on Football Managers and things like that. I mean, he's already getting glimpses of Newcastle coming on the bench in Europa League, and he's only, I think he's around 18, something like that. So I think he's got a big future ahead of him. But apart from that, I'm really not seeing a lot of quality young English striking talent, and that's going to hurt us big time, I think, in the future. But it'll be interesting. I do hope we can get some coming through soon, so we can at least, you know, have that goal scorers to depend upon in the future. Put down in the comments below who you think is going to have a big future for England. It could be someone very unknown. I'm going to say my biggest tip for someone who's going to be a Premier League top player and also in the England national team at some point, I think it's going to be Tom Carroll from Spurs. I've seen him on a number of occasions. He reminds me of an English version of Modric. I'm a massive fan of Tom Carroll. I think he's a great talent. Give him time. I think he's a bigger talent, a lot bigger talent than Josh McEachran, you know, in the midfield area. So it'll be interesting to see if he can live up to that potential. I hope he does. He's got the ability to, at the very least. So yeah, that's my views on the England national team. There was also another thing about, well, we're talking about money as well, and English national team. There was a kid from Chelsea, Ruben, what's his name? Ruben something? Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek, something like that. God, that's a weird name. Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Anyway, at Chelsea, he's going to earn 1.7 million before he turns 20. and he's an unknown youngster, so maybe he's a top quality player. I do not know of him. It'd be interesting to see if he is that, or is it just you know, another one of those cases of too much money in the Premier League, or too much money given to these young kids that are changing them. For example, Nia Ranger, you know, giving him some money, his bad attitude came through, and the wannabe gangster is now, you know, with no club. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see how that does develop for England. Hopefully it'll be a more entertaining team than the team we saw yesterday against Montenegro. Also, some game deals. There's a Humble bundle, THQ bundle with Darksiders and Red Faction Armageddon for 68p in the description below. If you pay over $6.78, you get Red Faction Gorilla and Darksiders 2. Also as well, there's 6 games, 3 that are on Steam from Indie Royal for $3.52. Links in the description. Also as well, what game have you been playing recently? I've been playing Bioshock Infinite that I've been uploading on my second channel. If you have not checked out my second channel by now, I think we just hit 400 subscribers, so it'd be much appreciated if you would go and check it out. Links in the description at the bottom of the list. And yeah, that is it for this week's weekly ramble. It's been much appreciated, everyone that is stuck with the channel and things like that, and hopefully I can be more active. I'm hoping to, you know, put some more things out on FIFA, and I'm hoping FIFA 14 is going to be what I hope it to be. Then I'm going to be as active as possible. As I said before, I'm not the biggest fan of FIFA 13, and it's very tough to keep doing content. I've got massive props for people that are doing content. Even some are doing content maybe because it's their job and maybe they don't enjoy it, but for most, you know, for the entertainment and the fun factor of doing it, and people are still enjoying FIFA 13, you know, fair play to them. Also as well, I'd like to know, who is your favorite YouTuber, if you got to this part in the video, or upcoming YouTuber, because I do want to watch some more people and subscribe to them, so do put them in the comments below. So yeah, that is the end of the episode. We'll come out with another episode next week for Weekly Ramble, and hopefully I will see you then. Peace.